Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
What do you do when no one else is watching? What do you do that makes you happy for no reason at all? What are you obsessed with? I'm Leslie Arfin, and I'm a writer, but I'm also a dancer, a painter, a vapor, a dollhouse enthusiast, and basically just an overall hobbyist. My podcast, Filling the Void, is all about what other people are fanatically into. We talk about hobbies, even if you don't have one.
Listen to Filling the Void on Tuesdays on the Arios Network and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
Hi, Dave here. Before we get to this episode of The Cinemile, I want to tell you a little bit about our Patreon page, patreon.com/The Cinemile. It's called The Cinemile High Club, and you get access to a load of retro movie reviews, including E.T., True Lies, The Princess Bride, and you get to vote on the next one every month. And we do loads of TV reviews. We've reviewed Black Mirror, Chernobyl, all the Game of Thrones latest season, so loads of stuff there. It's like basically an extra bonus podcast feed which you can go and get access to for the price of a cup of coffee a month. In fact, coffee might even be more expensive if you're living in London, and as part of that you also get a shout out on the show for being so lovely and donating, such as Sean Schofield, Colm Corcoran, Jake Ward, thank you all of you. Niamh O'Regan, oh my god, so many lovely Irish names here. Ben Wilson, Stephanie Marsh, Adrian McGuinness, you must be Irish, Tim Matthews, Bill Kelmartin, Fraser Christie, Laura, simply Laura, Johnny Keys, who we talk to a lot, and Verity Halliday. Thank you, all of you, for donating. One more thing before we get to this episode, if I know a lot of people are very sensitive about spoilers, so the spoiler street warning comes a little bit quickly in this one. So if you really don't want to know anything about Booksmart, you should expect spoilers from about the 21-minute mark. And also a random, slightly drunk person just seemed to show up in the middle of this and join the podcast, so enjoy that. Bye. Hi, Dave here, and I'm with my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
And you're listening to The Cinemile, where we walk home from the movies. Not walking anywhere right now. We're in a busy pub in central London with the one, the only, Jarlath Regan.
Hello. Hi, guys. Great to be on the show.
Thank you for coming.
Also known as Irishman Abroad.
Well, yeah, I was about to, thanks for inserting there, I was leading up to that.
But people don't call me Irishman Abroad.
Oh, don't they?
They just,
Is
that's
that
the
not
name
on your
of the
LinkedIn?
podcast.
No?
No, I'm not. No one shouts
that
that
your
at me in
given
the street.
Yeah, so Jarlath's podcast, An Irishman Abroad, is been around quite a long time.
6 years,
you're a
300
veteran.
episodes.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
6 years is a lifetime in podcast world.
Well, it's one a week, every single week for those 6 years.
Do the maths, 300?
Yeah, so it's mad.
I cheated, I know you
it's
just did your 300.
It's a long time and a lot of, as you know, a lot of work. And we just interview one guest a week. So, yeah, it's just an awful lot of time.
We just talk to each other every week. I mean, it's a little bit easier.
You get amazed. So Jarlath interviews people with, Irish people abroad or people with Irish connections, and he gets the most amazing guests. So, like, as an example, the one I just was listening to today was, I love him, Barry Keoghan, who our viewers will know from our listeners will know from Dunkirk and recently in Chernobyl.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got amazing guests. So, like, who are your kind of top movie related ones?
Well, John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman were recently on. Nick Frost, Chris O'Dowd, Sharon Horgan, big friend of the show. I guess Aisling B is blowing up.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, so she's in a new series with Paul Rudd.
Is she?
Yeah,
I didn't know
she's
that.
got her own Channel 4 sitcom starting, and she spoke about that exclusively to us this week. Tons and tons of guests, like from Terry Wogan to Sir Bob Geldof, and then loads of sports ones. If you're into sport, there's a load of really unusual stories, and it isn't just tell us about the time you scored the goal. It's much more about how the hell are you a racehorse jockey with 2 ambulances following every race? How do you choose that as a life?
Yeah.
And how many bones have you broken? Turns out all of them.
Oh my God.
You asked. That's what I like about your podcast. I think you're a good interviewer. You put people at ease, and you kind of you ask questions that I haven't heard before, which
That's
I
a
always
conscious
find.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Never ever want to ask anybody something they've been asked before, and I always want to ask them about the thing they love talking about. And you'd be surprised how many interviews you listen to where you're going, why are you getting to you must have heard them answer this before, right?
Yeah.
With movie people in particular, it's like, I heard them give a brilliant answer on Graham Norton about this, whereas I mean, that's done now. Let's find out what movie was it that turned them on to movies.
You could see it in there sometimes, in their cold, dead eyes in the junket interview, you know, and you just know it's been the same. What was it like working with The Rock?
Yeah.
And it's like, he's a great performer.
Yeah, well, we also have the luxury of time. In the junket, as you guys know better than anyone, and the listeners know, it is 5 minutes, get in, get out, it's over, stop, you're running over, we'll never use you again. I've been 55 minutes to an hour with everybody, and in that time you get to expand, you get to talk properly like people, not somebody shilling or selling a thing, which is just not something anybody really wants to listen to.
It's a better way to get to know someone.
Yeah.
And the way we like to get to know people is by inviting them to the cinema. So wait, this is the first time we've ever met, and in 5 minutes we're about to go see a movie together.
And you have to sit between us. No, you don't.
That's
fine.
And we all share a popcorn. Those are the ground rules. You get one large between all three of us.
Yeah, of course.
We all get booster seats.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
2 for me. And we've been trying to get Jarlath on for ages, but we're trying to get schedules together with like kids and all the rest of it. Busy, and Jarlath explicitly wanted to see a coming of age movie, which is awesome. And then Booksmart arrives.
Yeah, this movie is supposed to be very, very good.
Yeah.
Directed by Olivia Wilde. I think it's her first one.
Yeah.
It's
really cool.
About I'm just going to give a quick plot synopsis off the top of my head for no reason.
Dave.
It's 2 teenagers in America teenage girls who have just finished. They've put all their attention into being book smart and getting into the right college, and then they realise that all their peers who had been having fun the whole time while they had not been are also getting into colleges, so I feel like it was a waste of time and they missed out.
Here's a question for you. So you've already said this is meant to be really good.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes it harder to enjoy the movie, knowing that it's received critical praise going in?
It certainly raises your own sort of bar, doesn't it? And that can work both ways, because we went to see X-Men Dark Phoenix last week, and I was like, this is supposed to be
expecting
terrible.
a turd.
Yeah, and then I was like,
better than we thought.
it was okay actually. So
and also Spider-Man was something you were looking forward to so much. Spider-Man Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And me too. I was like, I am allergic to hype. Anytime somebody says, yeah, this is the greatest, I'll be like, I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody says it, I'm immediately skeptical.
Yeah. And did it live up for you, Spider-Man?
I went to it with my son, who is 8.
Aww.
And I feel my eyes getting hot, because at one point he just leaned across and grabbed my hand.
Aww.
And you're just
so
like,
good.
This is all ahead of you guys.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying we the listeners need to experience you bringing your son to the cinema for the first time and hearing his little baby review.
That would be really cute.
Let the listeners go on the journey of you educating this kid, taking him to see movies that are essential to understanding film. I mean, I'll subscribe to your podcast forever if you do that.
Thank you, great. We'll just bring Oscar. Well, soon we will, because we won't be able to afford babysitters anymore. They're getting too expensive.
Exactly.
Once he's old enough.
Going to everything with us.
Even more fitting that he's named Oscar. It's fantastic.
I know. Both our dads thought that was
right.
deliberate.
Unless
I swear
it was
to God, it's not.
subconscious.
But it was either that or BAFTA. But
You also paint him gold every morning.
all right.
So Booksmart. So you wanted a coming of age movie. We're definitely getting that. So we know it's critically acclaimed. Doesn't mean it's good. I've got high hopes, though, particularly with these sorts of movies. When you think of things like, it's the last night to lose your virginity before you go to college, or whatever, like American Pie or Superbad.
I've got 24 hours.
They're always really male skewed and about men pursuing women. So I'm interested to see the other side of it. And to see how, with a female director and 2 female leads, they handle it. Jarlath reckons that one of them is
Jonah Hill's sister.
Jonah Hill's sister.
Oh, is
As
that
far as I
right?
know,
It's a bit
yeah.
on the nose.
Like, Spice Girls were obviously in London over the weekend. Now, I didn't go, and I couldn't understand why anybody went, right?
My sister went. She said it was
But,
really good in Croke Park.
Yeah, well, Aisling B did say to me backstage at the 300th episode that one of the reasons why they love it and the reason why you love these movies about coming of age is because they happened in your life in a time, in a place before possibilities and optimism was knocked out of you.
Yeah, it's true.
You thought that anything's possible.
Yeah.
And this movie made it the vision of what your secondary school life. I definitely
Except
enjoyed
we grew up
them
in
more.
Ireland.
Yeah,
So our secondary
I don't know
school was
about you,
not
but
like
whenever I watched a high school movie as an Irish person, I always watched it going, Jesus, the weather is fantastic. So jealous of the sunshine,
And
honestly.
they get dances and like
Letterman jackets.
yeah, it always looked so amazing.
I just assumed that Saved by the Bell was America. Like that
a
was
documentary.
American to me.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, they're all Zach Morris.
Clueless. I thought that was like a really legitimate portrayal of what women looked like in America.
Yeah, there is a fantasy
Yeah.
side to it. And I think this is going to be a bit grittier than that. But
We'll see.
it's still the fantasy of growing up in America.
Won't be like our real dirty, gritty
No,
Irish.
to be honest, this will probably be more like the three of us in school. Really, the whole Booksmart, like not really doing much fun stuff angle at the start of the movie. Once they get into the really fun stuff by the end of it, it
All
won't
right.
be like.
Well,
why-
let's all meet back here in 2 hours
Yeah.
and compare notes because I want to hear all about your childhood. We're gonna go deep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna go. The spotlight's now on you. I'm gonna go all Freudian, and I want to hear your coming of age movie.
All right, okay, we better go
All right.
because the movie started 20 minutes ago.
Oh,
Technically.
okay. Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's the last day. We got you through high school.
I need to go over the end of the year budget numbers.
Can't we just graduate, head off to college? That should do it, right?
We will persist.
I can't hear you. I can't soundproof glass.
We have to go to a party tonight.
What?
Nobody knows that we are fun. We didn't party because we wanted to focus on school and get into good colleges.
And it worked.
But the irresponsible people who partied also got into those colleges.
I'm incredible at hand jobs, but I also got a 1560 on the SATs.
We haven't done anything. We haven't broken any rules.
Name one person whose life was so much better because they broke a couple of rules.
Picasso.
He broke art rules.
Rosa Parks.
Name another one.
Susan B. Anthony.
God damn it.
Picture this, I'm a bag of put me to your lips.
Hand sanitizer.
Check.
Chapstick.
Check.
Mace. Listen, it is very important that you keep the safe.
Oh!
There's something on! Don't touch your eyes!
Tonight is your night.
Right, we just saw Booksmart. We're not walking anywhere because we decided we had no destination to go to because we don't all live in the same place.
Yeah, and I was going to the nearest tube station, which is only 100 yards.
It would have been the shortest cinema ever.
Yeah.
Did you like the movie? Yeah. Or okay. See, cheers. Jarlath, what did you enjoy that movie? Did it meet the benchmark that you had set?
You know what I really thought was all the way through it, I was going, oh my god, I was in this situation in 1999. So it's 20 years since I graduated secondary school. And I was watching it going, I loved these movies. At that time, I was obsessed with those movies. I wanted a Letterman jacket. I wanted to have a high school with that kind of culture. I didn't give a shit that there was a divergence of jocks, geeks, nerds and weirdos and smokers. I just wanted that. And I was watching this one going, I feel really bad that the parents put on that spread and the kids were like, we're not going to eat this. I was like,
You identify with a different character.
I connected with the parents,
Yeah.
going, they must be so worried about these kids. In short, I enjoyed it, but I'm someone else to the person that... I think this is a movie for teenagers. I think that this is more so than anyone I've ever seen. I think Olivia Wilde has made a great movie for young people today, and I found it educational in that way, and I found it eye-opening. I'm not sure I found it super funny, but it held me from minute one to the end, and that is saying something, I think.
And it was 1 hour 45, which, you know, is lengthy enough for a comedy. So yeah, that is
for a comedy. Yeah.
saying something. Kathy, how do you feel as a modern teenager?
You're right. It
I don't
did
know.
make
There's
me
a 20-year
think.
age gap between me and Kathy. We've never brought it up.
It's funny. I was trying to calculate. I was like, what year did I finish secondary school? And it was 2004. So I felt old as well. But what? So this movie did an interesting thing for me. So most movies I watch, I enjoy at the start and they lose me by the end. This had the reverse effect. So at the start, I kind of was slightly rolling my eyes and thinking, oh, this is so far so generic. Other than I liked that it was 2 female leads.
And where's the jeopardy?
Yeah. And then it suddenly got interesting for me because I began to really buy the 2 leads as friends. And what I really liked was the positive portrayal of female friendship, because usually in these movies, if you think actually to any kind of, you know, of the big teen movies, like with female leads, so like Clueless and Mean Girls spring to mind, this kind of horrible components of like girls giving each other makeovers or being awful to each other, or like 13 where they're like awful influences on each other. This one was like really positive female friendship, so I really liked that. And then secondly, Olivia Wilde's quite a stylish director. There's some weird shit going on in this movie that took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting, and I really enjoyed that stuff. And then I really enjoyed the fact that it was like really frank about female sexuality, which you never see in movies like this ever. It's always about the male sexuality and like male satisfaction. So I thought that was really cool. And by the end I was just really with the characters, and I wanted them to have a really good night, even though at the start I was rolling my eyes and like, I've seen this 1,000 times, I don't care. By the end I really did care about them. So for me that was cool. And it was not as funny as maybe I thought it would be, but I did get a few laughs for sure. And I thought the cast was really good. I really liked the cast.
The cast was amazing. I feel like I'm at a slightly different place to both of you, which is interesting because we're coming at things from a different perspective. Because I was able to put myself in the position of the teenage girls somehow. And I've never been one. But I related to everything they were going through. And not, you know, directly. But I think this movie captures the sense of being a teenager like very, very well in a way that only John Hughes can kind of do. It's almost to that level for me. It captured that the nervousness and the tension and the unknown and the
FOMO.
So much FOMO. But the possibility and the longing and the disappointment, and it's a being a teenager.
Thought that I should be having a better time.
Yes,
drives the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's literally
and that's what drives a lot of your teenage years.
It's a destination. It's like
the party is somewhere. I don't know where it is. I've got to get there. Is a feeling I've had in secondary school, university, work, comedy, Edinburgh. You go to Edinburgh and you feel like, fuck, this can't be the Edinburgh Fringe. I'm sure you feel this. Where is everyone?
Yeah.
You know, I totally agree.
It's the feeling of coming out of the nightclub and then you'll be like, we'll find one more club. There's a better club around the corner. Not that I've had that feeling in a long time
that can't be what nightclubs are. Where I was a shit nightclub.
Yeah.
And I got it wrong. And the sense of the characters right from the word go is, oh, we thought we were doing high school right. Turns out we did it all wrong, and the people that didn't really work that hard are getting exactly what we got, but they're getting the beautiful life experience of being wild.
It's a fun premise, actually, and it
turns the traditional high school stuff on its head, and like it's slightly taking the piss in that everyone in this school is apparently either going to Stanford or Harvard or Yale or whatever. Yeah. But it's funny to your point on that feeling, right? Because on Saturday night, I think it was Saturday night, we were sitting at home and the Isle of Wight Festival was on Sky Arts and we were watching it. We watched Fatboy Slim do this like amazing set, and I was just like, I'm so happy to be watching this at home on my sofa. I hate to be there.
JOMO. That is the joy of missing out, and that is something that I revel in now at 38 years old. That
you don't have to be there.
You go by the FOMO. Yeah, that you've belived that for this length of time, and you suddenly see there was nothing. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
There is only your experience and how you enjoy it, and that's beautiful. And that realization, I think, is something you either need to find for yourself or have a kid and be forced to get to.
I think we're there as well. And that's a great phrase for it. And it's almost like
Jomo. I never heard of Jomo.
I think I'm there as well, and I like to experience those things by proxy through others. So almost like watching those two girls have this awesome night of their lives was enough for me to recapture whatever that weird sense of being a teenager was. But I also agree with you, Jarlath. I was identifying with the parents, but also I had this weird anxiety through all these scenes of like, how are they going to get home safely? You know, are they going to get an Uber?
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know you're still filming, but you went to see Booksmart, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
I'm sorry, did I walk past you? I walked up
No,
the wrong...
you didn't.
Okay.
When I was sat here earlier, because I was doing work, and I saw you interviewing this chap here, and you all said you were going to go and watch Booksmart, and you gave the synopsis of it.
Oh, well observed.
You said,
that's...
I'll have a go at that, did you?
Well, I saw it a couple of days ago.
Did you like it?
I wished I was 16 years old. Don't
we all?
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, no,
Did you enjoy it?
We just commented on how beautiful it was. Yeah,
and a really nice, especially for girls on girls. I thought it was a beautiful,
positive movie.
Yeah,
really
right?
positive.
No spoilers though.
No, but no lack.
No,
like you
no
said,
spoilers.
no.
But
No,
there's
like,
nothing to
aren't
spoil.
girls bitches? No.
No,
Actually,
yeah.
two beautiful,
But it is-
supportive friends who slap each other in the face and say, "You're amazing, own
And
it."
you're a dick.
Yeah.
But you're still amazing. Yeah. But anyway, I'm off to watch Elton John.
Good luck.
Oh, have fun, it's really good.
I've seen it already.
Oh.
Hello.
Good example of a London person having the crack with the Irish there. I know, she seemed
I'll
like
have
a nice
piece of
person.
that. She did, to be fair.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was, but I think I really liked it, and I thought it was. I got a lot of laughs out of it. I thought it was very funny, and I think when you mentioned the casting was like these movies are made and broken by the people in them, really. And at no point did I have a sense of any of these actors who are probably 29 being not a teenager. Do you know?
Yeah, I had a bit of an issue with the gay stereotypes. Those are the only characters that kind of, I was like, they didn't have the like stoner dad. Like that's not offensive to have a stoner dad who's like, the president's actually a lizard. But they really had full-blown queens in here that, like, I don't know. I just think there's a better depiction of gay
you feel
men
it was lazy,
than that.
perhaps?
Well, I felt like it was. It's a movie that avoids the obvious on so many levels. Why go for this one? Why allow this one to sneak through the net?
Yeah, because the female gay characters were much more nuanced, whereas the male ones were like really outlandish.
Yeah.
That's true, and they were in the drama society. These are all like sort of laboured cliches in some ways,
But
or
look, let's face it,
they were
there
very
are-
funny though.
There are those guys though. That's the other thing. There are those gay men too.
And it was I actually was thinking that I agree with you on that, of the kind of the overtness of it, but I was also thinking, the teen movies when we watched when we were younger, there was like no gay characters in it, and now you've got one of the protagonists is gay, we've got at least two other gay characters and potentially more, and I thought that was in itself how progressive this movie is compared to the teen movies we grew up with.
Well, I think we're headed for spoiler street now, because it just occurred to me that maybe the depiction of the overtly stereotypical male gay characters was to lure us into believing that another female character was a stereotype.
Yeah.
So we all bought, she's gay, they have a chance of getting together. And we like, were the two of you as shocked as I was to see her in the pool kissing Nick?
Yes. Yeah, that was good.
Got me.
Good twist.
It was a really good twist, especially, so we're on spoiler street now.
Yeah.
Spoiler street for Booksmart.
Especially because I was like, oh, this is such an amazingly liberating moment for Amy.
Beautifully
She's like
shot as
going,
well.
yeah, that was one of the scenes. I was like, I love the direction on this. She's like, first of all, I love. Oh my god, I'm not joking.
Spoiler trolley.
I'm not joking. The last time I recorded in this bar, that drinks trolley kept going by. It was like a scene out of Fawlty Towers. I just love that they kind of strip off and jump into the pool, and you can tell it's a female director because the camera's not lingering on anyone's body. They're just jumping in and out of the pool. She's going under the water and she's like having this kind of sexually liberating experience, and it's joyous and the music is amazing, and she's like going through all these bodies, and then we almost realise what's happening before she does, and it comes up, and the girl that we thought was overtly gay isn't gay at all, because she was like a skater, and they just made us believe she was going to be. That was a brilliant scene.
And it was a great scene. The music in this movie is brilliant. What a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Killer.
I mean, I don't know who's responsible for that soundtrack.
Said it at the end, but I didn't know his name.
Here's my problem with the killer soundtrack. I think sometimes soundtracks carry the load at times. Like, there's certain movies in history that we can point to where they've used the music to kind of get themselves out of situations where there's nothing happening. You know, it's just, we've just made a little music video and slaughtered it in and made everybody in the cinema nod their head and go, oh, I love that. Love that. Am I at a really good movie? No. They just played a song you like.
You can really elevate a scene, can it?
Spun the camera around, made them look cool.
It's true, it can get you out of a sticky situation. But what I appreciated about this was, from my perspective, maybe this is just because we are old, as you've pointed out. I didn't know any of this music, so I was like,
I didn't know any of it.
I instantly I was like, I'm gonna listen to this on Spotify tomorrow, this soundtrack, and I'm gonna sit there with my headphones on, just going, yeah, I'm a teenage girl.
Deadpool 2. Did you see Deadpool 2?
Yes.
David.
Well, that Picture This song, you know, is kind of it's nearly a cliched strut song now. It's like, you walk in a room in slow-mo in a movie, that's the song. Picture this, I'm a bag of dicks, put me to your lips. I've never rapped on a podcast, but I just did now. But like you say, it works, and I think a high school movie needs a killer soundtrack. If it didn't have the killer soundtrack, you'd be like, this movie doesn't know what the fuck's going on. It had me nodding in the chair,
it's
going,
part of the genre, like you need it for it to work. And I think like the assortment of characters in this I did really enjoy, and I just think it was really interesting at the end as well when we saw that it was written by all women, because I thought it felt really like realistic, and it felt like such a good portrayal of women. And I particularly enjoyed, because one of the characters, as we said, is gay, one of the female characters, I just really enjoyed seeing that on screen told out in a really understated way. Like, it's not a big deal that she's gay, she's not coming out, she just is gay, and then she has a crush on this girl, and I really enjoyed that scene. And I also really enjoyed her kind of semi-sex scene that she has towards the end of the movie, because it was like really tender and loving, and suddenly it was really silly and gross, and I just thought that was really well played. It
felt real. And I think I totally agree with your point. The fact that she was gay was almost incidental, you know, that had happened 2 years ago. She'd had her coming out moment.
Everyone was cool with it.
Exactly. And it wasn't about her sexuality, it was about her virginity. And we've seen this
these
story
movies always have that,
played out. And it was, you know, and that is what's instantly relatable, because everybody has been there, and it's awkward and terrifying. And just like, I mean, this movie takes it to the extreme a little bit. I mean, what did she drink sick? Was that what it was? What was in the cup? What was in the cup?
I thought she drank a cigarette butt. Yeah,
is that what it was? Okay, I missed the visual cue.
Because the movie that came out, it was either last year or the year before, a movie I really liked, but Dave didn't see. I don't know if you saw it, Love, Simon?
No.
So it was about a young gay guy.
I attempted to watch it and then knocked it off. As I've had that experience with Now TV on a couple of occasions. I don't know.
Like turn it on and then just turn it off?
I like sometimes, like Crazy Rich Asians, I threw it on and I was like, so people say I should see this if I want to, you know, there's certain movies you should see.
Yeah.
I'm finding it harder and harder to get through.
It's harder to stick with them unless you're in the cinema. But Love, Simon was a really interesting movie, and that is the first kind of mainstream teen movie with an openly gay protagonist. So this movie now joins that league. But the whole plot was about him coming out, and in and of itself was really interesting. But I think this is like next level on that. It was really cool, and I loved their friendship so much. I really thought they had really good chemistry together, those two actresses. And again, it blossomed as the movie went on. At the start, I didn't quite buy them. I felt a bit stilted. I do think the main actress, Beanie
Bernstein,
Beanie Feldstein, who is Jonah Hill's sister. I kind of felt like if she wasn't, and I don't think she was bad, I think she was good. If she wasn't Jonah Hill's sister, was she in that movie? And that kept ruining it for me.
That's not fair.
I know it's not
and
fair.
I planted that seed because
You
I'm not even
planted it.
sure that
It
is.
is because I just googled it.
Is
She looks
in
really
that
like
movie?
him.
Are you kidding me? She's flipping amazing.
But that's what I mean, and I know she was good. I just couldn't help in my head then thinking Jonah Hill super bad. Is that why she was cast in this? And I kind of wished I hadn't known because
she's also not a fluke. She played a similar role in Lady Bird.
I'm not saying she's a fluke.
No. Sorry, I'm just incidentally.
What are you saying? Would she be in this movie if she's not?
I don't know.
Jonah?
I just my thought process went there, and then I couldn't unpick it. So I wished I hadn't known.
Whatever advantage she may have had in that regard, she has more than proven her capability and talent to be in that space.
Oh, yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying it was like one of those things. And then the other actress,
she's
Caitlin
brilliant.
Dever, who played Amy, I thought she was really understated. Like, she was the less kind of interesting of the two at the start, and by the end she was the one I was really rooting for. Incidentally, she looks exactly like our babysitter Megan, who often gets mentioned on this podcast. She looked really like her. Megan doesn't even listen to our podcast.
It's like, who's the audience for this?
Sorry, Dave's
just
the audience.
me.
Dave's
Do you
the
want to
audience.
save that one for later? Or
but no, I love them.
hang tight. Twitter poll. Go to @theCinemile on Twitter. Does she look like our babysitter Megan? Yes or no? You decide, audience.
But you get no photo.
No,
of
you
Megan.
get. You don't get to know what she looks like.
Yeah, but no, I just love the casting. And then, did you notice Jason Sudeikis? Do you know he's married to Olivia Wilde? That's obviously why he got cast.
Oh, so you were sitting there picking apart the nepotism. you were building a nepotism wall in your head.
No, I was thinking,
God damn!
if I made a
you,
movie, I'd
Hollywood.
cast Dave, get him a paycheck.
Or he's not getting paid.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
that
did
too.
it for free.
Yeah, that could be too.
Wait, I'm not getting paid for this movie that I'm doing with you? Is Megan the babysitter going to get a role?
Yeah, she's getting paid. And also, I really liked the other grown up casting. So with Jason Sudeikis, Lisa Kudrow, and then the guy who plays MacGruber.
Will Forte, yeah.
So I really liked them as her parents. With the all the stuff with the panda was funny.
Cameo, really. Wasn't
The stuff with the panda was really funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beanie, as I understand it, the lead, as brilliant as she was, right, we're meant to buy into the idea early. She is the valedictorian class president that has never gone out, has literally never gone to a party throughout her entire high school. Now, I love that actress so much. I just think she's super cool. I think she's so funny and she's so much fun.
Yeah.
That for me, the block was not, did she get this role because of who she's related to? For me, the block was, I'm not sure I buy that everybody sees her as boring.
Yeah.
I guess I came with baggage of Bad Neighbours, her appearance in that, where she's Bad Neighbours 2, I think she's in the sorority next door.
Oh, you're deep into the Bad Neighbours universe.
Well, yeah. Well, that is one of her, that was probably the role that broke Beanie Feldstein, and she's, a college student, a head case in it, who's high at times during it, and I don't know if I bought, it took me a while to get, or I don't know even if I did get there, that this person was boring. She's also in her first scene kind of moonwalking across the grass outside of her house, not in an uncool dance scene.
Yeah, it was fun.
They're good dancers,
They were.
you know.
I was thinking though, I think what the barrier was actually when they were saying that she's a butter personality isn't that people don't think she's interesting or clever or funny, it's that she's so up herself. And I love that scene when she does first of all, Dave knows this is my absolute fantasy, to be in a toilet cubicle and hear people bitching about me and walk out and confront them, right?
Kathy
it's
talks
like,
about.
I live for that moment.
that.
I really want that.
In fact, everywhere we go, Kathy goes into a toilet cubicle for up to 45 minutes hoping that somebody
it's
we
like my
know
dream,
will.
right? And it's never happened yet, but I can live in hope. And when she walked out and sassed them all and went, when I'm in Yale, you can do this, I was like, you go girl. And then it really turned that scene on its head, because each one of them was like, well, actually, if you'd ever asked, we're all going on to do these amazing things, but like, you're just such a bitch that you never did. And I thought, ooh, I wasn't expecting that, and I thought
reverse
sass.
Yeah,
that was a really good scene. That's not how my fantasy would play out, because I'd get the sass.
Come on, let's play. Okay,
no.
Hang on.
Really
no,
good.
so you're in the toilet cubicle. Me and Jared are like, how about that Kathy bitch, right? Am I right?
No.
You know what I don't like about Kathy? She always thinks people got parts in movies because of who they're related to.
I know, it's sickening.
Oh shit!
Can't
I
think she's in that cubicle. The toilet just flushed. Are we in the women's toilet?
This is not gender-specific toilets. This is the year 2019. Shit, Kathy, are you in there?
Oh, never mind me. That's mainly the line I'm going to use.
Come out and rip us.
That's my line. Never mind me.
That's your line. Never mind me.
Yeah, and then I pointedly watched
so
that.
hang on. This is the biggest moment in your life. You've been dreaming about this for years, and you say, "Never mind me."
Yeah.
Never mind me.
When are you going to rip us?
No, that's it. And then I start off.
So you just give us an
I
icy...
take the high road.
An
Which is what
icy
she should
stare.
have done in this movie, because then she lost it. She lost all sympathy with her next play. Yeah.
I don't feel very sassed if you say never mind me and
It
walk
depends
out.
how awful you were being about me. But then she gets to the party, and even the hot popular guy is like, "Oh my god, I've always wanted you to come to my party." Like everyone. It seems like everyone was extending invites and wanting them to come, and they were just. She was such an asshole.
I quite liked.
She never went to.
I
anything.
liked that about the movie. There wasn't the, there wasn't the typical battle lines drawn between the cool and the not cool. It was kind of everyone was on roughly equal terms.
Yeah, well, that is one of the problems that people have raised with this movie. There's been a couple of things that have happened with this movie. One, it bombed its first weekend, did not do well. It's obviously going up against John Wick, and what was the other movie that came out that weekend?
Aladdin. It was Aladdin, yeah.
Aladdin, right?
Really
so that's a
hard to get.
really bad time to release your offbeat kind of high school movie.
Middle of the road.
End of August. Everyone's thinking about going back to school. Surely that super bad period. That's the period when I would have gone to see this with my wife when we're all on holidays and I get somebody to take care of the kid and we can go back to 1999. But the other thing that's been said about it is just how white bread it is.
Yeah, it is really undiverse.
Very. It's not even the ethnic diversity, it's more the economic lack of diversity. It's rich, white, predominantly American teenagers in a very good school. Clearly, as you said, everyone's going to Ivy League schools. People have had issue with that in America because it's like scratching their head going, well, there's a lot of diversity in this country, but Olivia Wilde has chosen to make a movie about rich American kids. Now, who's to say that's wrong? There can be movies about rich kids too, but it is a little... What a lovely little bubble you all live in with no worries, and your pools at your houses, and your super cool teachers who are getting you all into these incredible schools.
It's a fair point, and it's a fair criticism, and I think the high school movies set in rich schools tend to be these and the John Hughes types, which are a little lighter and fluffier. This is where the fun seems to be had, and then
this isn't like 13.
Anytime, it's 13 or Moonlight, or anytime we visit a more working class school, tends to be a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get rid of these poor kids. They're no fun.
Do you think like to flip that on its head a bit, right? Because what's been done here is really unusual to have this movie. I mean, obviously, like Amy Heckerling did Clueless, and like Tina Fey did Mean Girls. So it's not a genre without big like hard-hitting women making these things. But so this movie's directed by a woman, written by women, starring women. It manages to get all that right. It manages to get the kind of surrealness right, and it manages to do, for the female character, I think, do a really interesting depiction of a gay female character. Is it one of those things where like women are expected to do so much more than men? Like, no, I don't recall people criticizing American Pie because they're all privileged and playing like lacrosse. You know what I mean? And I think it's a wider criticism of these movies, but I think it's unfair to level it at this movie specifically because it's kind of endemic of the genre.
Yeah, no, I'm very much just saying what people have said.
Yeah, no, but it's really interesting. You did more research than us, so
but
thank you.
I also do think that, while you say that they did great, they got this movie about girls, and that's the other thing people have said is Olivia Wilde came out and said you need to get out to see this movie if you want women to make more movies and women to be leads. And the response to that has been a little bit the same response to Zach Braff having a Kickstarter. It's like, don't you try and guilt me, Miss Millionaire, beautiful, every opportunity at your feet to go and see your movie. I'll go and see it if it's good. And again, I don't necessarily agree with any of this stuff, but this is the criticism. And as you say, I wonder if some of the criticism is born out of a little high school jealousy of Olivia Wilde and her super funny husband, who she could snap her fingers and go, "You'll be in my movie, right?"
Yeah.
That there may be a certain amount, like, look, jealousy.
I'm jealous of her. Jeez, I'd love to be her.
Exactly, jealousy is a real thing, and
I heard she's Jonah Hill's sister.
She's Jonah Hill's aunt.
But you're right. Why does this movie have to do
everything
that too?
Yeah,
it's about a very specific, weird situation that two girls find themselves in, living in the kind of upper crust part of California.
Partly though, it's systemic of the society we live in now, where because of globalization and social media, and all voices are being heard now at all times, which is a good thing overall. But what it means is that our media is expected to be everything to everyone. And the same thing happened to Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones didn't meet my expectations. So I'm going to go to Twitter and hate on these two guys. So suddenly it's like, and also Twitter, I'm picking on Twitter in particular, is built on and fueled by outrage and finding outrage. So if you can find the angle that this thing either misrepresented someone or underrepresented someone, you go for it and you aim for the retweets. And I'm being a little bit harsh.
But that's real.
But it's partly, and that can be used as a force for good, or it can be used as a force of pointlessness.
Where were the bad guys in this movie?
I thought that I really enjoyed that there was no overt baddies. Everyone was just like doing their thing. Yeah.
But like that's then if we're saying that this is a proper good high school movie, there's where is Ben Affleck with the slapping board paddle for Dazed and Confused?
Yeah.
You know, where like high school had its baddies.
Yeah, it didn't show
There's
that.
no
But it had the
baddies.
mean hot girl, but then she ended up hooking up with her.
Yeah, exactly. She ended up being like cool, and you know, I think am I crazy? Newbridge wasn't the only town in Ireland where there was like, that guy will kill you if you fuck with him. Like, I remember seeing a fight where I was like, stop. You know, there was like jeopardy and violence.
The men were
secondary
very
school is very not on the radar of this movie.
The men of this movie were even like, you know, all the straight male characters as well were like hugging each other, like all really affectionate. Like, I wonder if the antagonist is actually our main character, because she was awful. Ooh. Everyone thought she was awful, and in the end it was like her redemption story. Even her best friend was like, you make me do things I don't want to do, and like, you bully me.
So like, from their point of view, she's the villain.
Because she's horrible. Like, all the stuff she says to them in the toilets, even though they've just been mean about her behind her back, but like all the way she speaks to them, like, she's so dismissive of them. And like, even at we open on her having this opening mantra where she's like, I'm better than everyone and they're all a bunch of assholes. But like,
such overcompensation, right? She's the whole, right from the word go, trying to justify why she made these ridiculous disciplinary decisions for her life, and wow, it's all worth it and everybody else can go fuck themselves. I mean,
But you're right. I was wondering why there's no obvious. But then maybe it's just because she's trying to steer away from the cliches of like the big bad jocks and the whatever. But I think it's definitely going to sit up there as a classic of the genre as time moves forward. I think it's going to age well. Yeah. Just because it's quite different, and it is. I think when you have two really interesting characters like that, I think so. It's been a long time. Dave and I had a big debate on our Ladybird episode, but it's been a long time since I feel like a truly iconic teen movie has come along, and I don't know if it's because I'm just too old for them now.
Yeah, so Lady Bird was similarly from a really small production company, and
very privileged
kind of a slow burner as well, in that didn't really open strong, but became and grew on word of mouth. Superbad, I think, was
the one before that, and was the tail end of a kind of Judd Apatow wave of the kind of very last American Pie ripple in the water. And I don't know if there's been a classic since that until Lady Bird. Does this take the mantle or run with the baton?
I think it runs with it. I'd consider them kind of in a group together. But I think, I would. But I think for me, I enjoyed this one more than Lady Bird.
Yeah, you're opening up an old debate here. We had a big old fight about Lady Bird.
But
What's the problem with Lady Bird? Just really quick.
You know what? I can't even barely remember now. I just find I found a lot of it just kind of dull. Obviously, I love Saoirse Ronan. I think she's amazing. You should get her on a podcast. But I don't know. I found this more engaging and more fun. I think
definitely more fun. That's for sure.
They're very different. They're very different movies, and I think they're trying to do different things.
I don't recall privilege being leveraged at that movie.
But that whole movie was about Lady Bird being poor and pretending to be rich.
True, but it was still a rich Catholic high school, wasn't it? And
but she didn't fit in it because she couldn't afford to go to an out-of-state
her parents had
right.
mortgaged their house for her to go to college.
You're right. That's why
it is sort of skirting with different issues a little bit. And this is undeniably in a different field. I think they're both coming of age.
Up the release of this movie. Unfortunately, I really think that we here we are. I suggested we go and see this weeks ago. And I thought this is going to be a summer hit, but nobody's brought this up to me. Like I don't hear anyone sharing it, or actually I went and looked for it because of hearing about this flack that Olivia was taking for it, and all I could find on Twitter was a lot of celebrity friends of hers saying you've got to go and see it.
Well, I've seen a lot of critics are saying this is like one of the top movies of the year so far. So it is getting a good critical response. But interesting, it's a Monday night, right, at 7:00, and our screening was nearly full.
Yeah, and there was people there howling.
Yeah, there was a good vibe, good energy, and which Kathy almost ruined by.
We have to bring it up.
So me and Jarlath got there first.
Row E, 17, 18 and 19 were our seats.
Yes, but if you want to go and recreate this, Clapham Picture House. So picture us, the far left corner.
We're in Picture House Central.
We're in Picture House Central. So we're in the far left corner of the screen. The door is on the right. Kathy enters. She has two options. She could do as me and Jarlath did and
down to the front of the screen.
Down to the front of the screen and all the way around to get to where we are, which is the very edge of the seat.
Bear in mind the row is entirely full. What does Kathy do? Twitter poll. Does she A, put her butt in the face of 19 people, stand on all their toes, make them all angry and receive dirty looks, or walk around the front like a normal human being?
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, so sorry. Oh, is that your foot?
No, but just I looked because the door was on the other side. I thought, I was like, damn it, this is one of those screens where there's only an entrance on one side, and I was wondering why every single person was like sighing, huffing, refusing to lift their bags, like glowering at me.
Yeah, because they knew you had another option and chose to just.
You thought that they were just really in the high school movie moment.
And I'm so
they were going to be mean girls.
You two were laughing at me. It's so embarrassing.
Oh, man.
And I was wearing a bright yellow
It's the
ranger.
longest few 30 seconds of my life just watching you do that.
It was a one-man play. It was absolutely riveting to watch. But I watched it like an episode of The Office, through my fingers going, she's doing it. All 19.
I just wanted halfway through in my head the Curb Your Enthusiasm music started to go bum bum bum.
Except Larry would have got up and thrown her over the chair.
Actually, they weren't nice about it, and I did stand on a few people's bags or jackets or something. But anyway, it was mortifying. And I was mortified because I was like, I deliberately booked an aisle seat so that this wouldn't happen, and I was really cross about it. But anyway, it was embarrassing.
The perfect, most high school embarrassment moment to
I'm
open
glad the
it.
lights were down, so no one saw my shame.
All right.
I think we're going to have to wrap up because, as we said, it's a Monday night and it's 10 to 10. Jared, thank you so much.
Yeah, we're parents now. We're not teenagers anymore.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me and having me see this movie, which I think after you walk away from it, it's one of those ones that you'll think about and enjoy even more. I think a good test of any supposed classic, Kathy, is, would you watch it the second it comes out on demand? That's my question to you.
I would
second, but I'll definitely watch it again.
I won't rush to watch this again, but if somebody else threw this on, I would happily sit there and watch it again and enjoy it again, for sure. And I'm happy to recommend this to people.
See, I think I would, and I was raising eyebrows at you saying it was a classic, but when I asked myself the question, knowing that my wife didn't come tonight, knowing that she's probably going to miss the release, and it comes on, I will fully set an evening aside to enjoy this together, because you go back to your teens with this movie, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think this movie might find a second lease on Netflix or whatever.
Well, it's just that Netflix is Netflix. Like, it's really interesting in the last decade that like rom-coms and teen movies, which are so huge in like the 80s, 90s, early noughties, it's just a dead cinematic genre, and Netflix have completely revived them. So Netflix, obviously, we know did To All the Boys I Loved Before was like their huge smash hit last year on I was at like a teenage like coming of age thing. They've just done this movie called Always Be My Maybe, which is like a smash hit rom-com for them. They're taking over that genre. They did that Rebel Wilson movie, which was we really enjoyed. Anyway, it's become the domain of Netflix, so I'm just pleased to see one in the cinema, but then it's really sad because, like, to Olivia Wilde's point, it's not doing well. So people are lamenting the lack of this.
And I think that's the other thing, is people are going, well, I don't think Olivia Wilde's going to struggle as a result of this not doing well.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if it was an unknown female director, people would be like, get behind this, and you could make that call. But she is going to go on and do great things.
And I think, though, I mean, there's no way, like, I know it didn't do the opening weekend they wanted to, but worldwide release, there's no way this movie's making a loss. Like, it wouldn't have been an expensive movie to make, and like this, I can't imagine it making a loss.
I think it came in under what it was tracking, though.
Yeah.
So it'll be considered a disappointment from the studio's point of view.
Yeah.
But you're right. From she's getting critically acclaimed, so you know she'll pick up another indie project, no problem.
She'll get a Marvel movie now or something.
Exactly.
They love
don't anybody worry about Olivia Wilde. So they're saying here that the budget was
Wikipedia
6
live
million,
research,
and the box office so far is 20.1 million. So
that's a hit.
Yeah, but you have to factor in marketing and also Jonah Hill's costs for referring his sister. he gets a kickback.
Yeah.
And Jason Sudeikis gets 10% of all profits. But yeah, we need to let Charlotte go. But thank you so much. And have you got any exciting upcoming guests you want to talk about, or not confirmed yet?
Go and subscribe or listen to Irishman Abroad. We have what's the next movie one we have coming up? Well, look, you know what? There's just a ton in the archive, so just go back and enjoy those Irishman Abroad. And thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks. And also subscribe to us if this is your first time listening. There's loads more of our episodes. We're at the Cinemile on all the social thingies. And we forgot to do our Patreon plugs, so I'm going to do that at the beginning of the episode, so you'll have already heard it and this bit won't make any sense.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers. We love you guys. Okay, bye.
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 Good morning, winner. Take a deep breath. Visualize the mountain of your success and look down at everyone who's ever doubted you. Fuck those losers. Fuck them in their stupid fucking faces.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
What do you do when no one else is watching? What do you do that makes you happy for no reason at all? What are you obsessed with? I'm Leslie Arfin, and I'm a writer, but I'm also a dancer, a painter, a vapor, a dollhouse enthusiast, and basically just an overall hobbyist. My podcast, Filling the Void, is all about what other people are fanatically into. We talk about hobbies, even if you don't have one.
Listen to Filling the Void on Tuesdays on the Arios Network, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.